Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes again.
毎日、
Sunday,
毎
Monday,
日、
Tuesday,
日立の
Wednesday,
細長
Thursday,
は
Thursday,
静
Friday,
か、
Saturday,
サラサラ、
Sunday comes again.
きれいな空気。体には細長が気持ちいいんです。日立のビッグフロー、ウェルネス。日立フレア。
Apparently, Maeda would go all over the world, and he would challenge people in circuses. That's where you fought, dude. He was having MMA fights all over the world. He was famous. This is what Jean-Jacques told me. I think Kano was his master. Apparently, something like they didn't want him to take these fights in these circuses and stuff anymore. So he took a fight in Mexico. And he wore a mask so he wouldn't get busted. And he was the one who started the mask wearing in pro wrestling. Maeda started it.
Was it really called the
That's what Jean-Jacques told
Nacho Libre?
And now to the man of the hour. Can someone get him a vodka with Metamucil? Blonde, great in-ring wrestler, great on the mic, a womanizer, 16-time champion, but enough about Kurt Hennig. Ric Flair has been paid millions and millions and millions of dollars by Vince McMahon, and he didn't have to fuck him.
I'd be remiss for my friend if I didn't ask you about Fallen Angel.
So the Fallen Angel is a performer named Chris Daniels, and Chicago guy.
Yeah.
And was brought out to Los Angeles, and he had the daunting task of taking someone like me who couldn't move and trying to teach them the basics.
How to move.
The basics of the business.
What do we got? Super Day, Pro Wrestle Clips. Tony Khan has Camille and Megan Baines sitting at home being paid since 2023 for nothing. Come on now. It's not going to be the pod concept kettle black on that one. Truth is the truth. Vacker was more over than Monet. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm reading slow. Vacker was more over than Monet and is going to the big times. Absolutely. And I said that. I think I covered that show. In fact, I know we did. And I pointed out, I'm going to go back and listen to my own comments. But I did make a mental note. And I think I did point out that I thought she looked really good because I had never seen her before. And now that you pointed out, I don't want to say she looked better than Mercedes, but I think the expectation was a little higher for Mercedes, obviously. And perhaps Stephanie exceeded hers and perhaps Mercedes didn't. That's my take on it.
SDL. Two bad bitches, one hot track. B3CCA, bitch. Two bad bitches, one hot track. Hello. It's that B3 flow. You said you know me? I think you don't. My friends are rich and you're looking hella broke. With Matt, I'm the real rough rider. Can't keep up, my arms must be tired. Slow-mo, super villain, Zack Snyder. You talk shit, but I know you're a subscriber. DSL on our lips cause we're naughty. Hannah Montana acting like Miley. We can't stop cause we're the life of the party. Got your man.
Ooh, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic PWT run-in. Yeah. this very special run-in. I am, of course, your host, the infallible, the frantic, the fanatical, the furious, the frustrated Phil Marks. And you, of course, are the PWT universe. Welcome on this Tuesday morn, perhaps noontime, perhaps little after noontime, depending where you are in the world. Round of applause for you all, PWT universe. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm doing well. However, you know, much like some of these topics I cover on this show, today's not a fun one. It is fun. It's important for the annals of time, for the history books, for internet records and lore. Yeah, this is, of course, the burial of Fightful. And why don't we just go ahead and dive right into Phil Marks bookmarks here, okay? So, guys, before we get things cooking, I would just like to plug youtube.com/at prowrestletimes. We are almost at 1,500 subscribers on that channel. We're at like 4,950 or 40 subs on Pro Wrestle Clips channel. So please share the channel around. Let's get to 5,000 subs and have a sweet 5,000 sub celebration. Check out the pod I did with Travis Heckle. I'm doing another very special podcast tomorrow with a guest who's prominent in the internet wrestling community. So that'll be a fun one. And tomorrow, of course, the live show that we do Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Of course, Saturday, we will be watching War Games. Our big giveaway goes down then. In association, I guess, with my guy, George Capture. And so make sure you're in that on Saturday, patreon.com/prowrestletimes, and consider becoming a member. Please consider getting super chats in if you would like to get your voice heard on this show and for surely be shown. And if there's anything you need to add or contribute or you'd like to say, that's welcome. Of course, support the channel so I could do this more and more over on Patreon. I'm watching Tough Enough Season 1 with all Jake. I'm reacting to all the Botchamanias ever. And I'm watching Total Divas Season 1 in the new year with my wife. So you guys can check that out. It'll be amazing. And Alex McAdam became a new member, so thank you. I mean, 99 cents. And you support the channel, support what I do, especially on a day like today where, you know, it's going to get ugly. So as the title indicates, we're going to waste no time. We're going to jump right into this thing. Scully Vibes for $5 says, Phil, you sound locked and loaded. Fire. Smoking on that Fightful pack in Minecraft. Conan, hit the like. Please, everyone, hit the like for Scully Vibes. Thank you. I am locked and loaded, but I'll talk about it in a moment. I am, but I'm going to approach this a very different way, I think, than you all are expecting. And it's important I do. Trust me, you guys will get it. This is a very important episode of PWT Running. I'm a little serious here because this is serious stuff. This isn't even like funny, you know? It's beyond that. It's not Meltzer funny, you know? This is like sick, weird stuff. But yeah, thank you for being here. You always support the S out of me. We're gonna watch the cusses today too, folks. Okay, we might tread some weird waters here, so we gotta watch everything today. All right. Thank you so much, Scully Vibes. You're the man. And yes, we are on that Fightful pack today. Okay, thank you. And then Ezra Gobert says, I'm going to send you a track later for another music video. Sure, yeah. As long as I don't get copyright stricken too, send me in music. I love it. I love making little compilation music videos. And the next one will be sort of themed on what this episode is based on as well. So thank you so much. Get it how you live it. Take the high road. Yeah, it ain't even about the high road. It ain't even about the high road. So, guys, as you guys can see, the title of this video is called The Burial. Oh, here, we got another super chat. I just want to get to these, right? So I can get off what I need to get off. Jimmy B for $5 says, I just found out who Don Stevens is. I'm not a true sicko. You just, yeah, I mean, hey, if you were even interested in who Don Stevens was, you're a sicko. And thank you for the $5 super chat. So yeah, super chats are welcome. Thank you guys, and consider becoming a member. Again, you can gift memberships, all that good stuff. Appreciate you all. Gilgamesh for $1.50 bought a super sticker. So
That's great.
I'm not even 100% sure what that is, but
Great.
thank you again. I'll give you a couple This Is Greats, and yeah, super stickers, all those sorts of things are welcome. Support the channel. Appreciate you all. You guys are the best. Round of applause for the PWT universe. And if you super chat in, we'll get to it. I will get to it, but just give me a moment. You know, there might be chunks of time here where I go off, and not in the way you guys think. So, as you guys can see, the title of this video is The Burial of Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp exposed as a bully, which a lot of people know. Miss Katefabe botches again, which a lot of you know. Now, if you guys tuned into the burial of Dave Meltzer, you, of course, know I just went off. And I mother effed him and mother effed that. And it was a grand, fun, gay old time, right? Well, I decided to approach this differently because this isn't like a fun, senile old guy projecting onto people and we're watching like a funny spiral out of control. This guy who like had everyone fooled into thinking he was legit, right? It turns out he's not legit and he's a mumbling mess. But Meltzer's not out there like actively. Nobody's alleging that he's like actively trying to harm people and stuff like that. Do you guys know what I mean? He may be harmful to the wrestling business. He may be harmful to his circle of, you know, weirdos who follow him, whatever. But when it comes to the whole Fightful situation, you know, it appears allegedly, you know, allegedly we have a bunch of public accounts that we're going to get to right here that people made public. You know, there's some sort of initiative, or I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like okay in this circle of, I guess, journalists / cronies to like harm people allegedly, or what people are claiming on Twitter and stuff, right? So we're just going to go over that. And you guys know what I think already about SRS. You guys already know. I've yelled about it at the top of my lungs. You guys know what I think already about Miss Katefabe and Elboo. And, you know, we can name other people. You guys know already what I think. And, you know, what I'm going to do and how I want to approach this today is I'm just going to read to the world. I'm just going to read to the world Fightful employees. I'm going to play clips from them. I'm going to read Sean's stuff. I am going to read people's, what do you want to call it, testimonials? I don't know, whatever they made public on Twitter. And I understand that I can be a voice of reason at time, but I can influence people, right? I know that with my voice and my platform, if I bury a wrestling match, I might change someone's mind on it. You know, I'm not going to do that this time. What I'm going to do, and I'm not saying my personal feelings or thoughts or sighs or laughs won't come out here, right? But I'm just going to read and present you guys this stuff, and I want chat to tell me. I want, if you're watching this after this airs live, I want you to tell me in the comments. I want you to tweet and tell me. I want people to just play this video and go, anytime anyone's like, oh, you know, these people are so whatever, you can just play them a snippet of this video and go, okay, well, what about this? Right? That's what we're going to do here. And you guys are going to tell me. maybe someone from Fightful will listen to this and go, hey, this is pretty wild, crazy stuff. I guess I didn't see it from this side of things. We're just going to read what these people say from their own chicken lips. And we're going to read what alleged victims say from their own chicken lips. And you guys tell me, is this bullying? Is this weird behavior? Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Right? We've seen, to start this whole thing, right? We've seen a bit of, the burial of Dave Meltzer happen because he's just spiraled out of control. Now, the same thing with Fightful, but in a different way. It's not just one person. It's more of a collective. And, of course, for years, people allege things about Sapp. I have all these stories. I have my own personal stories. You guys know it. We'll touch on that in a bit. Kate, typically botching. People laugh at her for being a Karen. All the rumors that they have like these swarms of bot accounts and friends who go after people, etc. Right? These are all just things floating around. It's like common knowledge within the IWC, right? And then just what sort of kicked this off, where everyone started to really becoming vocal. You see a lot more voices speaking up now, which is good. And what really set that off was this failed dox attempt that I covered on my pod with Duke Loves Wrestling. Shout out Duke from Devon in the Duke and Duke Loves Wrestling. And he, talked about how Corey Brennan and, Sean led some like doxing campaign on this one account. And then they apologized privately because it was an epic botch. And then the guy just said, I accept your apology. And now to this day, he gets called a P3DO. PDF file still, like it never goes away from the guy. You know what I mean? And basically the response was, well, he did the same to me. But no, he didn't do the same. And again, I can't help but give my opinion, but it's like, no, he didn't do the same thing. He didn't like dox your shit and he just talked some shit. And then you responded by having some kid from another country do a whole like investigation, and then it just got botched, completely silly. But okay, I told you guys I'm going to try and just present the facts here. Okay. So, then they hire Elbu to do their Monday Night Raw after show, which a lot of people scoffed at because Elbu, as we've chronicled on the show, and I'm going to call him Elbu regardless of me being neutral or not. He just, it's not like genuine disdain for WWE or a genuine dislike of WWE. The dude just clearly is agenda driven, right? And Katefabe the same thing. Now, this stuff might be out of order. It might be out of whack. I'm just going to read to you guys a bunch of stuff. We're going to react to it. I may give thoughts. Again, I think it's better if I just present it and I don't try and sway anyone, because I think the outcome's obvious of what conclusion you come to at the end of this, okay? But I'm going to let people make up their own minds, all right? Because that's what's important. So I hope I did a good job of sort of recapping, like, leading up to this and what happened at Full Gear. Not that even, in my opinion, again, I'm going to have to give it, what happened at Full Gear isn't like, oh, the end of the universe type thing, right? Was hilarious. But it sort of blew up, and it incited, I guess, a lot of people to, again, become more vocal and just start putting shit out there that wasn't out there before, I guess, and like responses from Sean and Fightful employees, etc., Jim Valley. So we're just going to get into all that. I'm just going to start digging in and presenting it all. It started at Full Gear, where Kate asks a question and people call her a Karen. I mean, the white knighting, whatever you guys want to call it, social justice warrior, the whitest of women talking about black issues that, as Lashley will point out, is, I think, just non-existent. And again, you guys know my feelings on this. Like, we're all human beings, bro. It's not about we don't see color. It's just that shouldn't matter. And Bobby sort of He has the perfect response. I agree with Machiavelli here. So this is sort of what's kicked off this whole everyone F Fightful, hashtag fuck Fightful type thing. So let's listen to this. I'm actually going to leave it small screen so we don't get Don Stevens.
Hi, Kate from Fightful. You guys seem very motivated to find gold here, and I just wanted to ask what it was like to come into a company and see so many black champions and what it meant.
And I mean, I don't know. You see Renee's head pop up too. I noticed this, and she's almost like, what are you asking?
To challenge right off the bat.
Like, look at her. She's kind of like, oh no, they're going to just respond poorly to this. You just see Renee look right down like, oh no.
Essentially a former black world champion.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that black champion. It's just a champion. See, we've normalized this already, and that's what I want to do with it. You winning a title as a black champion, and there's other black champions here. We can kind of erase that word now. We could just say champion. It could be a black champion. It could be Asian champion. It can be Latin champion.
Yeah, like I'm indigenous, man. And I'm telling y'all, man, we got to stop doing this shit. Sorry. I'm trying to stay neutral here. Neutral Phil.
It could be any champion. So we've already normalized that. So we can kind of erase that black champion, and it's just champion now.
So just a dumb question, right? Like overall, and she thought she was doing something there, These people pretend to care about this shit, and they don't really care about the wrestlers, in my opinion, because they would take time to understand this sort of thing about Bobby Lashley. I don't know, like how many people accused Vince and Triple H and them of being racialist. Meanwhile, like Lashley, and yes, for anyone listening for the first time, I know I'm saying racialist. It's a bit. This is a comedy show. It's quite serious today. Lashley was a Vince guy, so I just, again, like you got to think Vince's mentality, what everyone said about him and in the WWE in general is like, they really don't they're not looking for that. It's just, are you over? Okay, you're over. We're going to push you. Anyways, I said I would not give my input too terribly much. Can't help it. I'm a jibber jabber. So, just a silly question. Okay. So then Miss Katefabe protects. So she went private after the question. So I guess a lot of people were coming at her, and I get it too. You do this for a living, and you ask a question, and immediately everyone can't wait to jump down your throat. What a dumb question. Why would you ask? Blah, right? And I know like an argument to a lot of this would be, well, they're a great person, or, a lot of people call her a Karen, and some people are like, she's not a Karen, but I don't know, man. There's wrestlers who speak up. We have quotes from wrestlers who speak about this as well that we'll get to throughout this. And, it's the vibe that's given off to everyone. So you got to, then I get that's your friend or whatever, guys, but you got to, now is where you self-reflect. You go, oh shit, maybe it's me. And, take some accountability for it, say my bad. But I do get it. Everyone jumps down your throat. It sucks. And you have the right to protect your posts and all that if you want to do it. However, I mean, the question in question wasn't so bad that I even think people needed to blow up the way they did. However, this is an accumulative thing. That's why we chronicle all this. That's why I start with a mini recap of sort of how we got here. Like, this isn't just one instance, right, where people are just going to attack. And it's not just hateful men, like she always tries to make it about, right? It's people in general who are just like, bro, cut it out, and stop this white knight shit. You don't care about this issue. You don't actually care about it. And some people might say, like, and we have to take this off the table. Oh, well, Katefabe, and I don't know if she does, donates to fucking charity, and Sean Ross Sapp donates to charity, and Phil Marks donates to charity. A lot of people do that. Okay. So we got to take that off the table too. It's not like, okay, you watch Batman, the Penguin fucking give to charity too. Not a good guy. You know what I mean? You gotta understand this, right? And I'm not saying anyone's a bad person or anything. And I'm definitely not saying Kate's a bad human being, because she asked a bad question. Maybe not so good at her shit. Maybe a hack activist and not really like a writer, artist who, like, it seems like she's more interested in doing activism than doing actual journalism. Which do you, boo? But like, make an activist website, or maybe that's what Fightful wants to be. They just want to be a anti whatever thing, and that's their prerogative. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, right? But you can't be then surprised when people react the way they do, you know, and when people give you shit and go, you want to cry victim, and which she does, and makes it worse, you know. But yeah, that sort of kicked this whole thing off. Now, some of this stuff might be out of order as well, as I said. So here is Machiavelli DTA posted some screen grabs, and we will see this. Let's see. This guy goes, Sean says, the Rizzler celebrates with the Costco guys. That whole thing was massively over with the crowd. It was. And then this guy responds and says, this guy's name is Clay Kneecast. Now, this is such a huge L. So Kate takes her dumb question L. Right before that, Sapp he just embarrasses himself so badly publicly. And this guy, Cleancast, goes, I've been watching AEW all night. This is the only thing tonight that has got the crowd engaged and excited. No wonder your last name is Sapp. Now, again, he's taking shots. Sapp's allowed to pipe back. However, you got to delete or hold an L on this one. So, because Sapp does this thing where, like, see, his roasts aren't clever. They're not coy. They're not cute. They're not funny. He just really like tries to hurt people through like projection. Now, this is something we notice in fucking sociopaths. I'm not a psychologist here. We break it down with Dave all the time. There's this thing. You can all Google this now. We're doing school with Phil over here, and I believe it's called Dorva, and it's a part of, or Darvo, I believe, and it's a part of narcissism. Right now, I'm not like a guy. I don't study this stuff, but it's like Darvo, and it's how they escape accountability, and it's a lot of deflection, projection, all of these sorts of things. You see this a lot in these guys, man. Right? I'm just pointing it out. I'll reserve my joke. We all have mental illness. I spurg out autistically and fucking yell about wrestling. Right? So I ain't judging nobody. Okay? The last guy to do, but hey, I'm just saying this is a thing. You guys can Google it. Darvo. Right? Just type in like Darvo narcissism or whatever. I learned about that shit years ago. Anyways, so SRS responds to this guy and goes, gotta be depressing to know you will never do or create anything that people will care about. And then this guy responds, you're replying to a Grammy winner. No hate, it's just funny. And then Sapp tries to play it off. That's not a big deal. I have 3. And obviously he doesn't have any Grammys, but he said that to a Grammy winner, man. The guy spends all this time like saving tweets, and like going out and all this stuff, getting people to dox people and stuff, allegedly. These are the things that we're going to read about. I'm not saying that. This is what people are saying that we're going to read. And, you know, Sapp says, gotta be depressing to know you'll never do or create anything people would care about, to a fucking Grammy winner, guys. This is the same day. You know what I mean? Now, not to say we can't take a little shot back at a Twitter account that's talking shit to you. However, the way he's trying to be hurtful and then the way it backfires is hilarious, bro. That's karma. That's God. That's whatever you want to call it, being like, dude, humility, right? Bitch, be humble, sit down. What does Kendrick say? Right? So we're actually going to leave that one bookmarked, right? So I'm might go into the next thing or whatever. So anyways, moving along here. I'm trying not to like talk too much because I really want this to be like, I just want people to make up their own minds about this, you know? So Pro Wrestle Counselor, who will share some of his story too, some DMs he sent me, just sharing with me his story, I guess, a little bit. I'm going to talk about that too. So he responds to this Grammy winner here that Sean responded to, right? And then what did? Yeah, so then it like squared circle. Sean Ross Sapp replying to Grammy winner Nate Ruiz of Fun, tweeting about the Costco guys match. Gotta be depressing to know you'll never do or create anything, you know? And then this guy goes, Nate's tweet was weird, but this is an awful comeback. Saying it to a Grammy winner that has 4 songs that got massive radio airplay and listened to by 100 million plus people, etc. But still, these weirdos in these Reddits, dude, in the squared circle Reddit, like Nate's tweet was weird. They all do this thing where they go, that's weird. This is weird. I fucking hate when people do that. No, you're weird. You know? Why is it weird? Why? What's weird is people can criticize shit, but they can't take criticism, or like you want people to speak up for shit, but then they speak up and then they're not allowed to speak up. You know what I'm saying? So Sean Ross Sapp also takes the time to kind of go at the mole. And I quote tweet, I guess he's been beefing the mole for a bit. I quote tweeted this and I was like, why does Sapp and Elbu and these Fightful employees want to follow the mole then if he's such a discredited jerk, right? Like, I brought him to the show, the mole, and I really blew the doors open on that guy's account. And shout out the mole. And if you guys track, man, he's pretty accurate, you know? And I stay hypercritical of him for a reason. Trust me. There's a method to all of this madness. And the mole triggers them. Why? Because he's so accurate. You know? He's so accurate. It's not even funny. And he is wrong about some stuff, but everyone's going to be wrong, right? Especially with Tony just switching things up. But we're not here to talk about the mole, really. But here is Ref MJ from NJ, friend of the show, who I guess gave an official statement on the matters of the mole being called a terrible person on the internet by an actual terrible person on the internet, and the weird fixation that certain morning joes of pro wrestling news are having with an account that may or may not be real. And that's the other thing. Like, the mole could be just guessing and like really good at this, you know? But is making AEW infinitely more entertaining and interesting than 99.9% of the content coming from their websites. Exactly. At least the mole is drumming up interest and is getting people talking about these things. Now, Ref MJ from NJ makes a statement here, but Sapp, now I need to try and read this. You know, he responds to the mole being like, it is very telling to see who keeps getting duped by the AEW mole account. Even after we reported contractually Speedball wouldn't be in the C2. Forget working there. I'm not the guy running it. I'm not sure the guy running it even watches the show. However, it is very satisfying to see numerous very terrible people get duped with while constantly trying to convince the net how smart they are. Yeah, so I mean, who knows, right? I'm the biggest critic of the mole, you know. Now he does delete shit that he gets wrong, which is fine. It's people's prerogative to delete stuff on their accounts. You know what I mean? So you can call him out for that. This is exactly what I wanted to avoid personally, not to make any of this about me, but Sapp saying that right there, because that's all people were going to do with the mole is try and convince people they got insight to shit. I knew that was going to happen as well. So that's why I just keep it. You guys don't really see me interact with him too much. A little bit more now because it's kind of a thing. Like, he's known. People know it's a thing, right? We got SRS. I don't even think he watches the show. Clearly, he watches the show. You know? Again, I'm trying to stay neutral here. So Ref MJ from NJ says, IDGAF, if the mole is real or not real, as it is currently one of the most interesting aspects of AEW to follow. Exactly. Nobody is being duped. Almost universally, people have questioned the authenticity of the account, but are choosing to engage with it anyways because it's fun and this is the internet. Exactly. For somebody so convinced it is a fake account, why does Mole bother the Morning Joe of Pro Wrestling? Exactly. Why do you care if it ain't nada. And Sean is the same person who will go, you need a life. Why do you care? He says that to people who talk about wrestling stuff online, to people who tweet about wrestling stuff, to people who react to his own goddamn news. That's what he does all day. So it's okay if he does that all day, but it's not okay if you do that all day because you do it differently than him. Allegedly. No. But do you guys get what I'm laying down? This is what I tell you all on the show all the time. This is the value I try to add. Don't let people fucking tell you, oh, it's not okay to talk about things. Well, what do? I talk about things. Well, I'm talking about what I like to talk about. You know? It's so weird. It's this weird society we have these days. And it's not real. It's just mentally ill, really vocal people on social media, like making you believe this is real because we all can't help but be on social media. It's the old saying, like most people, you go to a restaurant, it's shit. You don't write a bad review and tell them it's shit, and you just never go back there. You might probably leave a good tip too. Feel bad for the waitress. Then you just never go back there. That's what the internet is. The people sitting there whining and shit all the time. You know? Right? I'm trying to reserve my I told y'all I'd try and pipe down on this one, but here we go. And one of the most hated, terrible people in the IWC says something is a very terrible person. Is that a bad thing? This is somebody who knows they are so hated. He puts his employees in front of him like human shields to take the vitriol. If that is a leader in the IWC, maybe it's time for a new IWC. That's what I'm saying. The wave, bro. I said it from PWT 1. There's a new thing happening. And if I'm in the front of it, sweet. If I'm in the middle, sweet. If I'm in the back, there's people who came way before me. You know, there's people like Wrestling Soup who are soldiers out there a decade before anyone saying the stuff no one was willing to say, you know, and here we are. And it's because of dudes like that there's this wave, you know, they're the ripple. Now we have this tsunami coming and things are just changing, right? And yeah, it's like if a super villain, if the Riddler's telling you you're a piece of shit, do you really care? You know? That's maybe a good thing. Anyways, moving along. Thank you, Ref MJ from NJ, for that. So this guy, Mike Indeed on Blue Sky says, personally speaking, I would just have Miss Katefabe at all the scrums for all the wrestling. And then Miss Katefabe says, I would like to attend zero more, unfortunately, but thank you. So she doesn't even want to do any anymore. And the people, well, she's obviously saying it in jest here, but this Mike Indeed guy is like supporting her. So good for her, you know. On Blue Sky, that's what they do over there. They either report each other or support each other. So it is what it is. Here we go. Here's the clip again. We already heard it play. Bobby Lashley's reaction. And so MJ from NJ follows up and says, so the very basic and extremely white, I'm sorry to laugh, wrestling Karen, also known as Kate from Redacted, decides to ask the racially motivated, ignorant question of the night, and Bobby Lashley it to bed. Flawless by Bobby. I don't know who needs to hear this, but get the ignorant, race-baiting, identity, political overtones out of pro wrestling. Out of everything, man. Celebrate great pro wrestlers. Stop trying to group them by race, ethnicity, or religion, or sexuality. Celebrate them as talented performers and not pawns for culture war. And yeah, you know, Pro Wrestling Counselor, I saw him have some takes. You know, he was saying like, I forget, hopefully I have them bookmarked. But yeah, people, I don't know. We'll get his responses, I'm sure, because I got some stuff from him that I'm going to read directly from his DMs as well. So another good take. Here's Pro Wrestling Counselor speaking of him. He says, someone tell Will to uninstall the app. Problem solved. Will Washington comes on Twitter and says, every time I open this app, I scroll briefly, come across some bullshit, say to myself, this is some bullshit, and then remember I'm in the wrong app and close it. Really a shame what it's devolved into. I've told you all, we've chronicled it. These people are obsessed with Twitter. Just go to the other app, never come on this app again. You know, I know you're not that stupid, Will, where you're clicking on the wrong thing, maybe early in the morning, but yeah, just delete the app and then you won't click on the wrong one. But and then Will responded to this as well. He followed up, and I don't know if I bookmarked it, but he said, this wasn't even about wrestling. I saw an ad about some gambling thing. And maybe that's true, you know, but I don't think you'd make a whole tweet like that about, you know, about like a gambling ad. I just don't think that's what people do. Dashing Per Pool has been a member for 1 month. And thank you guys so much for the super chats, man. Dashing Per Pool for $2 says, loved MVP, legit called Meltzer a nerd. Yes, we will cover that more on the podcast. This is more, you know, Fightful focus. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it so much. Lincoln Hawk for $2 says, if someone tells you who they are, believe them. That's a great one, man. And thank you for being here. This is our guy right here, Lincoln Hawk, top mod of the Top Pod Discord. So make sure you check that out and come chat us up in there. Scully Vibes for $2 says, salute, Phil. But those Daniel Garcia clips, bro, I keep them in there for a reason. You know what I mean? They're great. They're great. Guys, super chats are welcome. I'll kind of read them in like, you know, a chunk like that. I think that's the best way to do this. So here we go. Elbow of Wrestle Purists, we talked about that before. You know, he gets a job with Fightful. He talks about, I could just get a job with Tony Khan or whatever, which we know is not true. But again, he's just been rubbing everyone the wrong way. And not only does he get a job with Fightful, but then he goes on this tirade talking about, I could get a job in AEW tomorrow if I called a Tony Khan type thing. And it's like, you're the guy doing the Raw review. You could just call and get a job. You know, at either wrestling, that's, I don't know, that's pretty wild. Or like at AEW, you're obviously not going to come correct, you know, and people sniff it out. When you're not genuine, people sniff it out. I got a gimmick name and people can tell I'm more genuine than these dudes, man. That's why, I'm sorry, Andrew Zarian was on the air with Fightful. They had 104 people watching before I went on the air. We got 204 people watching. You guys know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that, guys. It's the new wave, right? Okay, so everything's fine, people. Nothing. That was Solomon. Okay, so Alfred Konua. We'll cover that. We'll cover that on another one. Here's Alfred Konua's response, though, to Katefabe's question. You know, so we'll play this, bring some levity to this whole thing because this is hilarious. This popped me huge, and again, he summates it greatly. This was essentially what happens at every AEW media scrum.
Hi, Ashley with the White Wrestling Federation podcast.
Hi, Ashley.
I know you're upset that Kamala lost, so what kind of things are you doing to cope with it?
You're just assuming how I voted without asking?
Oh my God, you voted for...
No, I didn't say all that. It's just you understand the problem with that line of questioning, right?
I feel very attacked.
No one's yelling.
Unprotected. I'm going to Blue Sky. But before I do, I have one final question.
Go ahead.
Can I touch your hair?
What?
Hi, I'm Kelly with the Safe Space podcast.
Hi, I'm Matthew with the Can I Say It While Singing a Tupac Song podcast.
Adam with the Black Wrestling podcast. The podcast is white owned. My name is Adam Black.
Can I use you as a reference the next time I say my best friend is black?
So how long have you been a black content creator?
So you guys get the gist, right? So shout out Pro Wrestling Bitch. Shout out Alfred Konua. Follow him at This Is Nasty. You guys watch the rest of the video over at his account if you want to see it. So, you know, Sean Ross Sapp shoots at this guy, Jason G, who goes, nah, Tony Khan debuted Bobby Lashley against a guy named Cheeseburger. Sapp says there's got to be more to life than chasing down every temporary high to satisfy me. Whatever. Ref MJ from NJ, once again, making the show. Responds to Sapp, who, you know, Sapp starts off, he responds to this guy, Zach the Human, who's asking for a comment under Counselor's post, and Sapp says, LOL, no, I don't care. Y'all need hobbies. Right. And so Sapp, I know firsthand, his hobby is collecting all these accounts that people who talk shit to him and going after people and all of these sorts of things, allegedly, according to other people on that part, right? So for him to say y'all need hobbies, it's like, but that's your hobby. So again, it's okay for you to do the thing that you don't like that other people do. That's called being a bully, right? You like to beat people up, but you don't like to get smacked in the face. That's a bully, man. Okay? So I'm not trying to get all religious, but like do unto others. Do we just have basic more whatever? I'm going to stay out of this. Anyways, Sean Ross Sapp says the fact that I didn't see the worst corners of wrestling Twitter pretending to be mad about a scrum question until someone showed me at least reinforces my belief that I've curated the timeline better. So him just admitting, like, to hear criticism, to hear any form of truth or opinion that I disagree with, that's curating the timeline. That's creating your own bubble, no? That is creating a layer of like cognitive dissonance, I guess, or reinforcing your unwillingness to even hear a different opinion, right? Some people are different. I'm not saying everyone's got to be like debate, blood sport. I'm not saying everyone's got to be like me. You know, I welcome people with differing opinions. I enjoy that more. You know, what do you want everyone to sit around and go, yep, we agree. Yeah, Fed bad. AEW great. It's great. You know, you guys want that? You can go get that anywhere. You can go get the same 3 headlines anywhere. You can go get the same talking points and cold takes anywhere. You know, to curate the timeline better. So, you know, pretending to be mad about a scrum question. Now, I just laughed about it. I never pretended to be mad, so can't be talking about me. But I do get it. There's a lot of people who just, there are accounts that pretend to get outraged at shit. You know what I mean? For sure. It happens on both sides, though. It happens in every genre. It happens in hockey. It happens, you know, you could just apply that anywhere to Twitter, politics, anything. Singers, Bieber, Vanessa Hudgens, whatever, right? Shout her out, was on Raw, sitting at Raw rather. But yeah, he doesn't even want to like see anything that might provoke the way he thinks. That's not healthy, man. That's how you regress as society. I'm going to reserve my opinions here. I'll let Ref MJ from NJ. I'm going to reserve them while I tell them the whole time, right, chat? Some X error says, Dear Supreme Ruler, Fightful.com, I see you have called me the worst corner of the wrestling Twitter sphere, pretending to be mad. I'm not pretending to be mad. I'm not even mad because, frankly, Bobby Lashley shut your minion down. Full stop. The clip speaks for itself. Exactly. That's the thing. It speaks for itself, dude. Not mad at all. I'm super happy for your colleague who got exactly what was coming after trying to pull a fast one. Your website has been angling a race-driven UR website. You got to edit that post there. Website, and no, I'm totally teasing. I don't get triggered by that either. The grammar police, you know. Although you got to know how to use your appropriate theirs, tos, yours. It's imperative. It does trigger me, but I don't go, oh, you spelled your wrong, unless someone's being a dick, you know? Anyways, your website has been angling a race-driven narrative for weeks now. Yeah, I'd say months even. It's been very obvious, not subtle, overt. Actually, Kate just effed you guys and made it troublingly obvious. Because why else is the whitest girl in the room asking a loaded question with all the racial overtones? Dead giveaway. Exactly. Funny how proud you are of having curated the most vile group of wrestling content creators this side of AOL. A dude who wrongfully accuses people of being P3DOs. Another dude who tries to instigate anti-Semitism. Yeah, I mean, Sapp putting up money to fight people. I mean, it's crazy. We don't talk about Fight Club. The first rule, we don't. A girl who openly instigates race baiting, and in case you think nobody's watching, then you attempt to dox people. Have you ever noticed how the most extreme right-wing accounts amplify it like crazy? What the fuck is that? Sincerely, the person you refuse to have an open conversation with for charity before offering somebody to dox themselves for charity. See what I mean? I don't mean to laugh, guys, but this is so. Do you guys feel that cringy feeling in your stomach of like, oh my God, this is all over wrestling, and we're not even into the thick of it, into the thick of it, into the thick of it. I might have to play Jericho just to lighten the mood. You guys know what I mean? So, which is incredibly weird, disturbing, actually. So there you go. MJ from NJ again. Coming in, this guy, She's Lay Daily, says, you ever notice when Sean Ross Sapp or someone from Fightful does or says something stupid, he starts having this victim complex, like how dare we hold him and his staff accountable? He reminds me of Homelander. He's very delusional and thinks he's the good guy. Yeah. Yep. So, moving along here. Yeah, so this is what Will Washington said here, and then he responds to it. Just to fact check myself, he goes, this wasn't even about anything related to wrestling. I just came across some engagement bait video with a steak ad across the bottom. I don't know. I don't buy into it. Just happens to be on the day, you know, not to like undermine it. Maybe he's telling the truth, right? I don't want to call anyone a liar. But that was just the vibe I think everybody got, you know? So I'm just putting it out there. Moving along. We got more here. Hamlin, Hearts Wrestling. Is quote tweets himself. Now, this is where it gets kind of crazy, guys, right? Now, this is what Hamlin Hearts Wrestling is alleging, or I don't know if he can prove whatever, but this is, you know, important. This is someone's story here. And let's read it. So Hamlin Hearts Wrestling says, thinking about that time SRS emailed my job to try and get me fired over dumb shit he didn't like on Twitter, not just to my boss, but to everyone in the building. But yeah, everyone else is the problem and the horrible person, definitely not him. And then this guy comes in and goes, you probably deserved it. Like, for what, dude? Talking about wrestling? And then this guy goes like, I see you're itching for those thigh rubs. Good luck with that. So infamously, the Fightful account tweeted out like, oh, I rub your thigh and go to your panties or whatever. And I guess it was someone who still had the password. But I mean, that story's so, in my opinion, right? To me, that's an unbelievable story simply because you wouldn't do that when people have the account and then you want to make people look stupid. You just start tweeting stuff like the N-word and crazy, like you start tagging people, and we've seen it happen to a million celebrities, right? So for one that comes across like a sext or whatever, it just seems to like of a specific thing. It seemed like a botch, but hey, that's my opinion. I'm an idiot though, right? What do I know? I'm just like a dark, fake, outraged corner of the internet, and I don't matter, right, everyone? So anyways, D's Game says he's only doxed me twice. Fun GM fact. This morning I checked and was still blocked. Dropped a few comments about him as a test. Checked again and I had been unblocked. Deleted the comments to see what would happen. He blocked me again. So for when you see this, Sean, hi friend. And then still remember the time you applied to Fightful and he put you on blast. He's a weird dude. He actually did that twice, actually. You happen to remember what you said, like, that upset him? And Hamlin says, I don't recall the first time. It was so dumb. He even thought he was slick and found a LinkedIn from 10 years ago and started tweeting Chipotle, where I worked in 2014 for 3 months. The most recent time was after his gam. Okay, that's where it's like, I don't even want to talk about people's families and stuff. So, yeah. So, I mean, crazy if dude emailed his job. Now, this isn't the only guy. Okay. Now, unless a bunch of people are making up the same story as we go along here, you're going to hear more stuff like this. And it's tragic. Honestly, over wrestling, this is fucking humiliating, bro. Right? Imagine Don Lemon or Anderson Cooper. And yes, Sean, that should be a compliment. Like, I get it. CNN's a bunch of goofs. That stuff's going out of business, but like, that's how people look at you, dude. Like a real journalist guy. At least that's how you present yourself. At least in my opinion, maybe I'm off on that. Most people, I think, agree with me on that, right? So, again, we're getting into the nitty gritty here, folks. Hold on tight. Hamlin responds to himself and says, SRS has also been in my DMs trying to get me to fist fight him. Now that's not the first time we've heard that either. Right? Just saying. You guys tell me in the comments. You guys tell me in the chat. What do you think? What do you think? When I laughed, he proceeded to get on his Twitter and publicly call me a bitch for not accepting. This is the guy who this is the guy who wants to pay for news about a fake sport. Okay, you do you, weirdos. Yeah, everyone's calling each other weirdos. So Sapp DMs Neckbeards, and Neckbeards goes, sounds familiar. Then he blocks you, then unblocks you to say he, then blocks you again. But yes, we're the toxic ones. Sapp goes, message me from a real account with who you really are, and we'll set something up. No coward burner bullshit, thanks. And then I guess he blocked him, then unblocked him to go he. I mean, that's real right there, dude. That is Sapp DMing someone that. I don't know, man. It's pretty kooky. It's pretty kooky. Moving along here. The death of awful wrestling response to Sapp here. And Sapp is saying his official response. So we've had official responses from other people in the IWC. Here's Sapp's official statement on the matter, okay, of the Katefabe thing. He goes, find something else to pretend to be upset about. Now, again, man, say the same thing, bro. Like, you could say Kate could find something else to pretend to be upset about by doing that race baiting shit at the press conference, no? So I don't know, man. I'm really... It's just a lot of hypocrisy going on, right? I hope you guys are picking up on this, right? I'm trying to bite my tongue a little bit here. So Awful Wrestling responds to this and says, no one is upset, Sapp. People are just more aware and convinced what's been said about your publication and those who represent your brand. Egotistic, thin-skinned, unprofessionally immature fans that weaponize your influence and circle the wagons against anyone that dares criticize or catch you guys when you F up a story, say something defaming, or double down on protecting the absolute amateurs you pay. Another hot take from Awful. So that is Hamlin there. Moving along. Yeah, Awful was featured on Twitter, like on the homepage. So Awful says, IWCNN reporter gets embarrassed by pro wrestler at a media scrum, locks account in shame, and then claims victimhood. So I think this is not even from now. I think this is another time. But Awful was just reminding everyone, like, this is what happened last time, right? Just as a reminder, right? Kate goes, banned 24 hours on this app. I'll be promoting stuff and interacting on here from time to time, but you can find me on Threads for more frequent interactivity. Having to file police against people on this app because of wrestling and have men I know spend hours on the phone with people to have them even attempt accountability for their behavior is absurd and pathetic. Guys, fucking... This is what she did last time. She ran away to Blue Sky this time, and that's her prerogative still. I think I'm being fair in that, right? Like, she's a girl. What am I going to fucking bully a girl? I don't care. Yeah, she said a dumb thing, criticize it, move on. But just, again, highlighting can dish but can't take type thing, right? So, counselor. This has to do with Grand Slam. Moving along, we got more stuff here. Jimmy Van, the founder of Fightful, had this to say, right? He says, I never respond to negativity on Twitter. He doesn't. He actually does a good job. And people say some foul shit to this dude. So shout out Jimmy Van, I know a lot of people don't like him. But he does not respond to the negativity. He doesn't block people. He just kind of lets things slide. So give him that. He says, I never respond to negativity on Twitter, but I will this time. Kate is the furthest thing from a wrestling Karen. I don't know, man. I think people will tell you that, you know. I get that's your friend, you know, or your employee, so you don't want to say it, but people get that vibe. So can you really argue with what the people say? When, you know, we heard the question, you know, it's what it gives off. It feels like activism, you know. Now, if the people are saying something incredulous with no evidence, that's like, she's a witch that kills cats and does voodoo. Well, can you prove that? You know, that's a whole other story. No one's saying that, though. We're just saying, like, dude, her questions are Karen-ish, which I don't know, right? I'm not the arbiter of what's a Karen, but everyone seems to agree on that. But she says she is the sweetest and most down-to-earth person. I'm sure she is. Well, actually, I don't know, because the stuff she tweets out, like, I'm a marketing, I've had, like, she tries to give Triple H advice. These people who work for Fightful think they're Elbu. I book better than HBK and Shawn Michaels and Triple H. I could book this better. And then, you know, Kate's like, oh, if I was I'm an expert in media relations or whatever the fuck, all this stuff. And it's like, well, then why isn't that your job? Why aren't you the media person for a pro wrestling company then? You know, you don't. You ask stupid questions at fucking dumb fake press conferences, you know, to millionaires who are like, what are you talking about? You know, this guy just paid me fucking $3 million. You know, what are you talking about? Anyways, though, if you don't like her question at the scrum, that's okay, but don't spin it to suit your agenda. Now, here's the thing. Y'all have the agenda. Fightful seemingly has the agenda. No, I don't think Ref MJ from NJ has an agenda. Ref MJ isn't like, we need to tear and burn down Fightful. At least I don't think. But, and if they are, cool. But everyone has an agenda. No? It's just some people are forthcoming with theirs. So I think MJ from NJ is very forthcoming, like has very thought out tweets and these sorts of things that a lot of people find interesting and correct a lot of the time, you know, and they're well thought out. So, and objective. So, you know, Kate shouldn't have asked that question to spin to suit whatever agenda y'all got going on. You know, it feels more like y'all got an agenda. That's what people are calling out. So anyways, this guy at SammyGR43 whatever says, look, Kate from Fightful taking out her frustrations on Raw tonight. She has definitely lost it. Tagged a bunch of people. So this is what Kate had to say about Raw last night. And she just took out her frustration on the IWC because she doesn't understand that there's AEW fans, there's people, MLW fans, GCW, there's just fans of wrestling in general who are fed up with the nonsense. It's not just WWE fans, but you know, they view it that way. You can tell who the real tribalists are, you know, the ones who are, or it's not even about real tribalists, right? Scully's like, yo, I fucking hate AEW, you know. Awful's like, I straight up hate it. They're overt, and you can respect that at least, you know. These people are trying to be like covert and I don't know. I think Kate is just op-ed though. I don't know if she's really a journalist, but the way she's like, she makes it sound like she is. Or again, these people. I don't know. I'm trying to just reserve my judgment. Again, I keep goddamn saying, let me just read what she had to say about Raw. You guys tell me what you think. Okay, there we go. She says, so far, this has been one of the worst episodes of WWE Raw in the 30-plus year history of the show. Really? 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 It was a pretty fun Raw, man. It breezed by. Okay? That main event was like, all right, whatever, you know, but that's my opinion. Here, I'll reserve my opinion. She goes, Gunther made to look like a coward and a loser. Shenanigans and more shenanigans. Jesus, that's all one word to describe any episode of Dynamite. Shenanigans. The most obvious result to a match in wrestling history. man, yeah, she's just bitter, mad, taking out her frustrations on WWE. The War Raiders lost their title shot in only the second title defense in the Judgment Day's 150-day reign. The New Day got squashed by the Alpha Academy and then had a soap opera argument backstage. See, like, if you can't put over that New Day stuff, you truly, we can just objectively be like, you're not a fucking wrestling fan. Period. Like, what did they do wrong in that? You know, have you not been a fan of, or at least understand, like, the magnitude of the New Day's tag title reigns, because they had that one really super long one, but they had so many, and like what they really did for tag team wrestling and how they got so over with that. They became world champions, and then now it's dissolving, and you don't like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston cooking backstage with a promo and just saying it's a soap opera argument. Okay, then what do you call Jericho being followed by, not to make it about AEW, but you know she loves everything AEW. What do you call Jericho being followed by Ishii, like the movie It Follows or whatever? You know? How do you, I don't know, man. I don't know how you spin that. So again, I'm trying to reserve my opinions. Chat, you let me know. Commenters, you let me know. The War Raiders lost their title shot in only the second title defense in the Judgment Day's 150-day reign. The New Day got squat. We read that. The final testicle is about to do some bull crap with the Wyatts. Come on, man. I don't even go that hard on AEW unless it's fucking Cassidy fighting like Garcia or something. I'll just ignore it too. I don't even just go, oh, they're going to do this. I mean, just to sum it like that, you got to at least give it a fair shake, baby. And then Nia is probably going to get to beat Bianca Belair. And if that wasn't enough, apparently Dominic Mysterio is the best wrestler in the world under 30. So she's mad about an ESPN thing. Everything sucks. Everything somehow, including the C2 this year. Let's talk about it. So she doesn't even like the C2 now. Maybe Katefabe. She can change her name to Katefabe. There's a free one, Kate. And yeah, she can just bury shit and do her own agenda if she wants to. If she's going to bury AEW too. But I guarantee you she isn't like everything sucks. I guarantee you she's more optimistic about the C2. I guarantee she's like, well, at least this person will have a good match with this person and stuff. Denisha Lane for $2 says, hey, Phil, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks. You know what? Canadian Thanksgiving's in October. But thank you. And I'm a very holiday-y. Me and my girl are very holiday-y. So we might just like whip a turkey or a chicken up with some stuffing and stuff like that just because, you know. We wish we had American Thanksgiving, because it's just in a better spot, you know. Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas, and then the New Year. That's better than, for us, it's Thanksgiving, then Halloween, then November's nothing. You know, we have Remembrance Day, and then it's, yeah. Anyways, thank you. Scully Vibes for $5 says, wait, Phil, I don't hate AEW. I'm critical of the product and make jokes. Sickos do hate my takes, though, so I get into debates a lot. Clearing my name. Yeah, dude, fair enough. I didn't mean to, but you're just very upfront. You're like, no, like you're critical is what I meant. Yeah, sorry. I did say hate. I didn't mean to put you on blast like that. You were like, hey, Phil.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah. Scully's the man. But yeah, you were willing to like debate it and be like, well, no, this is what shit. And you stand on it. You're not like trying to hide the fact or tiptoe around, or you're not upfront about the way you're not upfront about the way you feel. You know, you're overt is the point I was getting at. Anyways. Moose Knuckle going savage in the chat. So anyways, yeah, so everything sucks. So she's just down in blue. So even her spurging out on the C2 there, she doesn't really feel that way. You know, she's just bummed out, and I get it. Neckbeards continues along, and he's had great takes on this. He goes, this guy used to be normal with great wrestling takes. Now he just sucks up to people from Fightful. What happened? He hates Eric Bischoff's takes, but respects Elbu. He has a high IQ now. So this Greg Morgan goes, "What up, Jason? I've been watching wrestling for 43 years. Backlund still had the strap. I've been obsessively dialed into the business since then, attending tons of pay-per-views, TVs, and live events, tape traded my ass off in the 90s, interacted with many personalities who work in the biz, and have covered wrestling for nearly 15 years on my podcast. As a longtime watcher of all promotions who has zero tribal tendencies or insecurities, I can say with 100% certainty that Elbu absolutely does know what he's talking about." Yeah, and like also, who gives a shit? I hate when people, bro, we all are fans of wrestling. Just because you Backlund still had the strap and you traded tapes because you're old as shit, and no offense, but like, you know, you're old as shit and there was no internet back then, cool. We sent each other LimeWire files and ripped fucking burned DVDs on blank discs and to watch spots and Amazing Red matches, dude. What are you talking about? We all did this shit, you know? So it's just interacted with many person at me too. Okay, you should see my DMs. Right? It's just like, bro, come on. I can say that 100% Hangman absolutely does know what he's talking about. Well, I fucking saying he's not. A lot of, never mind. Phil's not a part of this. I'm saying a lot of people say he's not. So how about that? Yeah. He offers informed and intelligent discussion on a wide variety of wrestling topics that aren't rooted in anger or personal jealousy. See, so they just chalk up, if you say anything that doesn't align with their narrative, you're just angry or you're just personally jealous. No one's jealous of Elbow, dude. Okay? I get more live viewers than Andrew Zarian, bro. I'm not jealous of these people, you know, not to make it about me, but all of these people. People who don't have podcasts and they just have Twitter accounts, they aren't jealous of you because you're on a fucking podcast. Is that what you think? Just because they're vocalizing their shit? Like, maybe they don't want to do that. Did you ever think of that? Maybe they're like a cook or something who just loves wrestling and they like doing what they're doing. Jesus. Sorry, guys. Got to stay neutral here. The "no one can know more than I do" trait is overly common amongst wrestling fans and is what insecure people who know they're insecure tell themselves. Also, stop following people like Disco. Being a lifetime douchebag will produce zero success and will only result in endless envy, just as Disco. And the "no one can know more than I do" trait is overly common. Yeah, but no, it's overly common among the dirt sheets, and they're the ones, the gatekeepers, who created this culture. And that's what I've been chronicling and bringing to light here at PWT since day one. And that's why most of these people fucking hate me, dude. Because no one's really psychoanalyzed it like this. Like, no, that's what is going on over there, and that's the culture y'all created. Meltzer helped create this weirdo culture of like, no, we know better. We have sources. We know all this shit, right? And the fantasy mark booking culture, I get it. And again, this applies to everything. MMA fandom, everyone knows better. Basketball fandom, everyone. MCU, go read MCU threads. Everyone knows how to write these movies better than the people who get paid to write and produce these movies, right? How many times are you going to hear fucking Star Wars is dead or some shit? It's like, yeah, really? Because they keep making fucking billions of dollars. They still keep cranking these fucking things out. You know what I mean? It's still making money. They still got merch and all this shit. Like, say what you will. I'm not a fan of it all either, but listen, okay? Are you guys sure? Are you sure about that? It's the John Cena gif where he comes from behind the green screen. Are you sure about that? You know? So the "no one can know more than me" is like when Elbu goes on a show and is like, what dumb people will tell you is that I could book NXT better than Shawn Michaels right now. I know I could. Triple H is killing the Fed. They're doing the best business ever. So what is the "no one can know more than I do"? Like, you know, just ask Disco. Well, why don't you like Disco? Because he tells you an opinion that doesn't align with yours. So we shouldn't listen to him. Because why? He works in a nightclub and doesn't need the wrestling business, but he was in the wrestling business and actually did good numbers for WCW and was there when people were drawing and mixed it up with real people in the wrestling business. Oh, Big Show farted in your face. Okay, we covered it on this show. Rick Steiner shoved a marker up wrestlers' asses. Guys who would flip you all around in the air like pizzas, like that Luigi Primo guy who would walk in the room and flip everyone around, and they got markers shoved up their ass. Is that it? You know what I mean? Is that you want to talk? You know what I mean? It was part of the wrestling call. I'm not saying any of that shit was okay, but why don't listen to Disco? Because he doesn't agree with you? But listen to Elbu, who's never done anything in the wrestling business ever. Ever. Why you listen to you, Phil Marks? I tell everyone, don't listen to me. I'm fucking dumb. Right? So, I don't know what to tell you guys, right? Just ask Disco. He's a lifetime douchebag. Why? Because he played one on TV? Because you disagree with his takes? Because he sounds like Kermit the Frog? Okay, maybe I'll give you that one, but no, I'm just joking. Jason Gwinsberg says, well said. I out thinks he knows it all. I've been watching WWE for over 40 years. I feel like he's been covering wrestling for 4 minutes, LOL. Dude acts like he knows the history of pro wrestling. F out of here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a good dig up there from Neckbeard. So, Glenn Gilberty, speaking of Disco, pipes in and says, that talentless Mark from Fight. I literally can't do that. That talentless Mark from Fightful that asked a stupid question to Lashley talks shit about me on X while blocking me. I can't do a fucking Disco. That's my worst impression, I think, ever. On brand for the Fightful community. They have no skills or talent. So he's saying that talentless Mark from Fightful that asked a stupid question to Lashley talks shit about me on X while blocking me. Yeah, that's what they do. On brand for the Fightful community. Exactly. They have no skills or talent. A lot of them. Pro Wrestling Counselor says, I've been doxxed to no end for my AEW opinions. I'm still here. You know what keeps me here? Knowing that my tweets get to you so much. Your reactions, even going to the extreme of doxing me, fuel me. Ruining your day with my opinions of the only thing that gives you purpose. AEW shows that your current state isn't even helpful to society. Damn. At the end of the day, when you're dust, you have no impact and no one will remember you. Now, if you want to stop being an incel and make something of yourself, I offer my costly consulting services for free to you. Until then, keep crying into the void, because as long as AEW is still around in this shit state, I will keep offering my opinions. And that has to do sort of with the doxing thing. Now, off screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Phil Mark's DMs. Right. And Pro Wrestling Counselor is actually coming on the podcast sooner than later here, I believe tomorrow. And he is going to, we're just going to laugh at sickos and stuff like that, because he's become really a big fan of the sicko segment. And I think you guys will get a kick out of it. But basically, he shared with me, now I don't want to open his DMs, but he shared with me a litany of messages about his story that I had no idea about. So basically, he got doxxed already. He tells me the story. He goes, a unit who I believe is Sappy. And then he goes on to say, I don't know if I want to just drag people into this. So he says there's a woman and her husband created this account to harass city officials to get me fired. And these are like Fightful cronies, I guess. I'm reading you counselors' DMs to me, okay? He goes, yeah. And then he goes, there's an account that was created to dox me, okay? I'm summating what he said here. They also have sent tweets to my job saying I'm racist. He goes, when that didn't work, let me just sort of, because I don't, there's sensitive material here. So they tried to accuse him of being a P3DO. Found out the student in question didn't exist. This is the level we're talking about over the WWF counselor. Like a fucking troll guy who just likes the Fed. Let him like the Fed. You know, it's crazy to me. Listen, this is disgusting. This is disturbing, man. Anyways, I'm keeping my stuff to myself. So they dug up some like fine or something. Okay. I'm just trying to see how I word this here. I'm so sorry, guys. Listen, so he had some sort of like tax, like a fine he had that didn't, he's like, this shit never showed up on like a background check on work or anything, and they dug this shit up on me, like trying to use it against me when it was not, like, it's just a nothing thing. Like, hey, everyone's got a credit card maxed out or something. Like, are we all holier than thou? Oh, look, man, he had a car note. Like, fuck, it's crazy. So they went to all these extreme lengths. He can come talk about it more if he wants to. I don't know, but that's sort of what he's referring to there. I gave the cliff notes of that, right? Because I don't know what to say and what I can say. And it's just gross stuff, man. But these stories need to be shared. And again, contacting jobs, these are things, it's not the first time we've heard of this happening. Also, Brad Shepard he had places of work, I believe, contacted. He had his family exposed or doxxed or whatever you want to call it. And he had like a box of feces sent to his house, man, over allegedly Fightful, and some people will get upset and go, Phil, not allegedly. Well, I can't, I don't know. Allegedly. Kate is on sicko mode. Go hit him with the sicko mode. Yeah, you're right. You are right. And thank you for the super chat for $2. Right. But yeah, a box of feces, I guess. And this is a story they can share with you. Right. Why? Over wrestling opinions or over, I don't know. This is the thing, but to take it to that limit, right? I'll tell you guys this right now. I don't get along with Brad Shepard that much, right? But I'm not going to fucking take it to that limit of, that's crazy. People can talk things out. I would talk to any of these people that I'm discussing here on the show today, on my show. Call me any name they want. Scream at me till they're blue in the face, right? But we can have a discussion. That's something that should just be able to be had, right? Especially if you're going to take it to a level, to this extreme where it's like extreme bullying and extreme like uncomfortability and just weird situations, right? Maybe try talking first. Maybe that's it. So this guy tags me and a handful of people in this. I never interacted with him ever. This is literally the first time I've looked at his account. I guess I follow the right people. So Sapp responds to this Hamlin guy. Now, if this is true too, okay. Right? This is why I just want to read this. I want people to make their own opinions, right? So Sapp says, hell yeah, I did. Get ready for a fun thread. So he just admits, like, yeah, I harassed his job. So he admits to doing it to this guy. So does that not sort of mean you're kind of stooging that you're willing to do that type of behavior and that you probably have engaged in that behavior with other people? But Sapp goes, yeah, I did. Get ready for a fun thread. This guy said he wanted a room full of media members to die. Now, if that's true, man, that's fucked too. Calm down, IWC. Even the people who got overly mad at Katefabe too. What did you expect? That's my whole thing, is like, is any of this new, guys? Right? And I wanted to have fun with it. Believe you me, I wanted to just make jokes, and we will on the next show when we do the Meltzer moment of the week. You guys know it's going to be amazing. Tomorrow night's live show with the Dave Meltzer dumb moment and MVP, all of that. It's going to be a great time. But today it's like, no, I gotta be serious about this. This is like real fucking weirdo shit going on. Anyways, so he goes, he made weird SA jokes about my passed on grandmother. He says it, so I guess that's like, I don't fuck with that either. Me personally, again, I'm trying to be neutral. It's not about me. Harassed a woman as she fought for her life in the hospital. Okay, that's fucked. I have no idea what he's talking about there. Posted literally over 1,000 weird and obsessive. So okay, so Sean, you stooped to his level and like did the same thing, called him a P3DO to his boss and all that stuff. An eye for an eye. I don't know. I get it. If you're getting punched, do you punch back? I get it if that's his position on it, right? That being said, if someone could fact check, if someone could show the world, like, here's where he did all this, I'm sure Sean could. And that's, I don't condone, no one condones any of that either. Yeah, so I'll give him that. If what he's saying is true, allegedly. But all I'll point out is that SRS is copping to at least engaging in activities that are like that. And there's a plethora of people who say they've had jobs attacked and stuff. So is it all because they're have different wrestling opinions? Are they all making fun of your passed on relatives? Are they all making weird jokes about a woman who fought for her life in the hospital, which I'm not even sure he's talking about there? I don't know, right? But we seem to see more of like your side of it than not. There's more stories than, oh, this Hamlin guy is a scumbag. He does messed up shit, at least from what I've seen. I don't know. At least in this engagement here, at least throughout their back and forth drama. Moving along. Let's see if we have any more. Andrew Zarian, he works for Fightful. He goes, as a father, I love that he is able to give this incredible experience to his son. That's what matters at the end of the day, for sure. I love that too. The Costco guys stole the show at Full Gear, in my opinion. Duke Loves Wrestling tags Fightful, and he goes, Dear Fightful, every person affiliated with your company, including fans, will answer for the harassment, stalking, threats of violence, etc. Your entire company will be dismantled. Holy shit. Tags Jimmy Van. I hope it was worth it. Merry Christmas. Soon come, as he said on PWT podcast. Duke said, as my relatives say, soon come. And ringleader of stalking campaign against journalists, sentenced to, he tags them in some article of just basically like where these journalists stalked, or I don't know. You got to read this whole thing, but it's basically Duke's showing them like, we can get you with this. And obviously Duke's Doc is coming out. Hashtag Merry Christmas might be a little bit of a teaser as to when. I hope I still get a screener for that. He's on a mission. Duke is. And I give him props for that. If anybody could, again, this is the burial of Fightful. If anybody could shed more light on the nitty gritty of this stuff, it'd be Duke. And if you haven't listened to our last podcast, which was a good sort of like precursor to this burial, and then I think the stamp on it, I think, will be his documentary, and also the burial title, a little clickbaity. I won't lie. I'm not ranting. I'm not mother effing everyone like I did Meltzer, but I think with sensitive topics like this, it's more appropriate I approach it this way. And I know the PWT universe understands that, so I appreciate you all too for rocking with me. And I'm sorry if you guys get uncomfortable through some of this. Anyways, though, this guy responds and goes, you should seek some sort of therapy, electroshock, lobotomy, padded room, whatever the doctor feels is best. Duke says, you should stay off my page. All of you lunatics mounting up for this likely criminal organization aren't helping their cause. Duke's always bringing down the criminal organizations over here, bro. So what is this guy saying though? Wah ha 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 ha. Wait, I can't breathe. I literally can't breathe. Hang on. Deep breath in, exhale, deep breath in. Ha 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 ha. Anyone who tweets some shit like that is like a mentally unstable person. You guys know what I'm saying? Unless they're like really trolling, and you can tell it's a bit, but this person like thinks they did something with that. Reserving my judgments again. Gotta bite my tongue as much as possible here. No. Moving along here, guys. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. There's a lot of sludge to get through in this thing. And thank you all for rocking with me. Moving along here. I'll find it, guys. Sorry. It's a lot, man. It's a lot, It's unfortunate. Compelling broadcast. So here we go. We're back with Duke here. So yeah, this guy just like spurged out, starts laughing at Duke. Moving along. Thoughts, Elbu? So it's just Elbu saying Braun Breaker, The Rock. Let the Braun dream go, brother. Bookmarked. The Rock ain't working no War Games match, but LOL. So yeah, Elbu again, like joining Fightful, doing the Raw reviews, completely wrong about who's in the War Games. It's my understanding he's saying who were the fifth men's were going to be, right? The fifth man's is so Braun Breaker and The Rock. Completely, he couldn't be further from off. So AEW fans of Blue Sky posted this. It's a part 5 in the replies, or it's a 5-part thing if you look in the replies as well. And it's a part 5. Sorry, guys. It's a long one. We're trudging through the sludge here. So there's like a list of like a billion names they have, I guess, compiled, and he got screen grabs of it. Or this is really the Blue Sky people like coming on Twitter and showing people who to block. If you see someone you know, tag them below. I don't know. So I'm not on this list. I guess somebody went through it all for me. I think George Capture did, or someone did, and informed me I wasn't on the list. Maybe I'm in part 5. Maybe I'll be in part 6. Who knows? I don't care. I'm not reading all that. Like, look at this picture. You click on one. It's like 10,000. So this guy has screen grabs of all the accounts that the IWC sickos. Like, look. Like George tagged me in it, and I was like, oh, let's see if I'm in here. I clicked on the very first one, and then I responded to George. I'm like, I'm not reading all that, blood. I ain't reading all that, my guy, my brethren, you know? I mean, I ain't going through all that. So I don't know. Someone let me know if I'm in there. Apparently I'm not, but I probably will be. Who knows? But yeah, that's the block list. For AEW fans of Blue Sky. So if you are on there, consider it a badge of honor, I guess. So let's see. Okay, so here is, I don't know how to pronounce this, Aswang TJP, Mega TJP. So here's a wrestler who speaks up about Miss Katefabe. Right? And this is what I mean. There's wrestlers shutting you down at these press conferences. There's wrestlers shutting you down just on Twitter on their own accord, being like, hey, we get this vibe too. It's weird, this weird, like, racially, because what these race baiting people don't get a lot of the time, especially these like white Karen chicks, and yes, that's how you come across. I'm sorry. They don't get that, like, it's what Alfred sketches. Like, oh, so are you disappointed Kamala lost the election? And he's like, did you just assume? Can I touch your hair? Like, it's just that they're the ones who are so ignorant to the shit. And it comes across weird. It comes across cringe. I've experienced it in my life to some degree, you know, and people can pick up that vibe. And they don't understand, like, no, you're making it about this thing that no one's making it about, like, and you think you're doing something, and you don't understand how you're the one being, like, racially insensitive and stuff. And so here's TJP posted this and had this screen grabbed, like, ready to go, and this is this year. Aswang TJP, I don't know how to say that, right? But he's Filipino, and he says, yeah, she doesn't have the best track record with this sort of thing. Got a real kick out of mocking my Filipino-based character based on how the Filipino world looks. And she goes, I'm an Aswang. Whoa, I'm an Aswang. Is that what it's supposed to be? I probably fucking butchered what she was trying to say. Again, these people aren't cute, funny. They're not clever. I don't know. It only got 10 likes. You know, but he filed to trademark Aswang, and I don't know what song she's trying to do there, but I don't know. TJP calling her out. This is Mega TJP, WWE superstar, TNA superstar, you know, New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar, wrestled in AEW, etc. Scully Vibes for $2 says, Denise S left Fightful. I DM'd you a post. Yeah, we covered it on the show already, Mike. She left to do her Raw reviews with Santi Zapp. Shout them both out. And I'm glad she's away from there, man. She's so much, and I know she won't ever bury them and stuff, but she's better. And I know she has dumb shit too. I've covered it on the show. That's her role. That's what she's supposed to do. You know, Adam Hernandez for $20, man. Jeepers. Thank you so much. We will drop you. Been watching wrestling since the 80s. You're not going to like everything. Like that these AEW hardcore fans are blind that their champions are from WWE. Tony Khan's roster consists of WWE men and women. Hello. Yeah, well, you guys know
The
that.
best guys, Tony Khan.
You guys know that, right? Yeah, and thank you very much for the super chat. I agree. And how does this pertain to Fightful? Well, Observer, Fightful, the people who really stand them and the people who like come after you for being critical of them, they all typically align, It's harder for WWE fans because there's so many of them to be like, oh, they all sort of align with this. Like every day you hear of a new podcast that's been around for like fucking 10 years or 5 years where you're like, oh, and they just talk about WWE or whatever. Like it's so big that I get what you mean. To try and tie it and circle what you're saying back, like it's the birds of a feather flock together ultimately. And yeah, it seems like cult vibes on all ends. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, chat. Round of applause for Adam Hernandez. Thank you very much. And then Beef McLarge Big. IWC is an autistic nightmare led by Dave and Tony. Yeah. I agree. And these old gatekeepers, it's like the old guard of pro wrestling media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's shifting. It's shifting now. Thank you so much for £2. Beef McLarge Big. It's an amazing name. So yeah, TJP basically calling her out, and he had a screenshot ready to go. Right? She doesn't have a best track record of this. So maybe instead of going and burying AEW and burying WWE and spurging out and having a temper tantrum, and maybe instead of Sean spurging out and saying, oh, y'all need hobbies, does TJP need a hobby? Sean? Does TJP need a hobby? So yeah, he basically calls it out too. At some point you have to look in the mirror and question yourself. You know what I mean? Here is a video now. We have video footage from Ref MJ SRS, a gift that keeps on giving. Imagine the uncomfortable levels of self-obsession one must have within themselves to slide into DMs of people blocked 2 years ago at 2:30 a.m. I'd ask what prompted this DM, but I can't reply back since SRS has had me blocked for more than 2 years. Yeah, I'm in the same situation. He's just slid in, talked some shit, slid out, So let's see here. Blocked. Okay, so this is MJ message request. No ill will, but that was a really weird thing to say. They all like to do this thing. You're weird. That's really weird. It's weird. Fuck, I hate when people do that. I encourage you to do some research and have some media literacy in the future. Again, media literacy is one of these, it's just bad faith. Media literacy. It's just these things the people throwing these terms around, they don't even really know what they mean. And having some media literacy, it's just such a cop-out. Right? Just highlighting this. I don't mind criticism of my work, but your obsession over me had reached disturbing and uncomfortable levels. Seek other things to do with your day. Thanks. So like, we're obsessed. He likes to do that too. And I responded one time to some people like defending some Fightful shit. And they're like, why are you obsessed? And I was like, because we're all obsessed with wrestling news. We're not obsessed with SRS himself, bro. We're obsessed with the bullshit and the drama and this behavior, the bullying stuff, and we're obsessed with like the internet lore and the IWC and pro wrestling. You're obsessed? Yes, bro. Is Sapp not obsessed with wrestling? Yes or no, chat? Comments, let me know. Is he obsessed? Yes or no? His whole life's work is about talking about wrestling. Right? There's some obsession that has, especially if you take it this seriously. If you take your work this seriously, clearly Sapp takes himself seriously. It's not a bad thing to take yourself seriously. Is that wrong to be obsessed with like what you're passionate about and shit, bro? Oh, well, you're obsessed with me. Or does Ref MJ from NJ cover all the wrestling news, bro? And you're a wrestling news guy. That's like, how do you explain this? That's like fucking watching The Simpsons and the guy who does Homer's voice being like, oh, why are you all obsessed with me? Like, maybe that's a bad analogy, but you guys know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? You're the fucking news, bro. And he talks about everyone. Talks about everybody. We cover it here on the show all the time. If you don't know, watch PWT and you'll see what Ref MJ from NJ has to say about everybody. It's not obsessing over you, bro. No one's obsessed about you. It's just the bullshit that surrounds, that permeates, that rotates around the gravitational pull of the journalism or lack thereof. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. There we go. We read the DMs. Comfortable sharing DMs there. Let's move along. We got some more. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that is, I don't know. I would just cringe, dude. I wouldn't even want to DM someone I was gonna like already had blocked and was like, I'm true with you. I'm gonna DM them at 2:30 a.m. Anyways, Unpaid Critic goes, yeah, run away to an echo chamber platform when things get called out. Kate from Fightful retires from Twitter, and exactly, they run to Blue Sky, and it's gonna be no better. All the shitheads are already there. I'm over there. Follow me on Blue Sky, guys. I don't do much. I just post my videos, but Phil Lindsay says, I scrolled through Twitter a little after the pay-per-view and just now, and it's so negative over there. Well, it's critical, and you guys ran away from the criticism, and thus people would say it's negative there, but also it's negative on Blue Sky as well. Look at what you guys are doing. You're talking about negativity. You're being negative about the negativity. This is what I mean. It's okay for Katefabe to go, everything sucks. And then we go, well, your question sucks. WWE sucks. Gunther's a goof. Everyone's douchebags. Everyone sucks. Even the Continental Classic. Everything sucks. It all sucks. Yo, your fucking question sucked. How dare you? You need hobbies. Oh, so you need hobbies. Everyone needs hobbies. How dare you? Blue Sky Threads, you need hobbies. Why are you obsessed? Quit obsessing. You guys need hobbies. Oh. Why are you all allowed to say shit sucks, but when people say you suck or other shit sucks, we're not allowed to say that? Fuck. I promised I wasn't going to get mad. You guys know what I'm saying, though? Like, why the fuck is it okay? It's just this control thing. Bow down, do what we think like we think, man. That's all it is, bro. And it's gross. These people never win. It's the wrong side of history, bro. You don't ever be the people trying to control what people think and how they act and shit. Fuck you. How about that? Anyways, man. And how do we control? I don't control anything. Well, according to these people, you call their jobs and shit. According to people, they've had boxes of shit sent to their house. So what are we doing with that? What are we doing with that? Melts. What are we? What? Well, Phil Marks. You know, it's like my brain's getting scrambled. I'm trying to. Okay, neutral guys. Back to neutral Phil here. Okay, fence sitting Phil. We're gonna oh my god. Okay, so Katefabe says same. I hope the features and more key accounts migrate this way. So we want all the same features and the key accounts, and then along with it comes what? The people. And then you're going to get mad and mass report each other like you're already doing on Blue Sky, which we covered on the show. So more key accounts migrate this way because I'm closing that account. My numbers are close to X. Off to a good start. And see, all these people, we also covered it on the show as well, all these people going to Blue Sky, your numbers are similar to the ones on X because now you're just finding out your true engagement, right? So you have all these people that follow you that don't even actually fuck with you. You tweeted out on X, right? I pointed this out about Anthony Bowens, and it's like, dude, we're explaining internet to the boomers now. Like how this shit works. Come on, I know people who are 50 in their 50s who understand how this works. You tweeted out to your Twitter people, hey, I'm going to Blue Sky. Then you went over there. And then all the people that really actually fuck with you and engage with you and agree with your shit just flocked over there with you, and it's all this same bubble of people, so it's the same engagement. It's just like it's the simplest thing. So it's funny seeing these fucking boomers. No, I'm just off to a good start. Thanks for 3.8K strong. So there you go. She's having fun over there. Good for her. Unpaid Critic says, how is it a good account? You used your platform to falsely brand a person an SX offender. You're a literal criminal. And SRS responds to someone saying, like, I don't have an issue with anyone that has a problem with the question. Speaking of Kate's question, I have an issue with the worst accounts on Twitter playing moral high ground over it after years of harassing and obsessing. No, you're harassing and obsessing people over people. No one's harassing and obsessing. You guys are the news. You guys are the journalists. So it's not harassing and obsessing when people respond to, are critical of. Is it harassing and obsessing when Brandon Thurston talks about Vince McMahon still every day when no one's fucking... Is it harassing and obsessing when people talk about what's in the news, or when SportsCenter talks about the crazy goal from the fucking hockey game or whatever? Is that harassing and obsessing, or is that doing what society does, right? People look at Twitter as what, and social media as what? Essentially like the new town square, like the new place that everyone can go vocalize their shit and people can debate it and say, I think that's dumb, I think that's wrong, and the shithead can stand there with his piss jug and go, I fucking do you like the black champions? We all get a voice, right? You don't want everyone to have a fucking voice, and if they do, you say it's harassing and obsessing over the news. So is everyone harassing and obsessing over Donald Trump and Kamala and fucking the end of the Lakers game, or who won the playoffs? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? No, you can't say it's harassing and obsessing, but you're a guy who wants to put your opinions and news out there, or she wants to be the person to ask these questions to millionaires, high-level entertainers on a global scale, if you will. Maybe not AEW so much, but Lashley's been there and done that, right, guys? We're going to give him his due, right? You want to be that person, but you're going to say people are harassing and obsessing. Dude, every live show I do, I got Moose Knuckle asking me, harassing and obsessing over my fucking feet, literally. And you don't hear me crying, bro, right? You got to roll with some of these punches. And it's not harassing and obsessing. And I get it. People playing moral high ground. I'm sure there was some of that. But speaking in general, no one was playing moral high ground. They're just saying, stop with the race baiting bullshit. That's not a moral high ground thing. That's a societal thing. If you are still doing that shit in 2024, you are behind the times. People have moved past that shit. Or at least I want to think they have. You got to stop doing that. At least intellectually, I feel people have. Okay, let's say that. Maybe not socially in like inner social circles and shit. But again, that would be all anecdotal and speculative. Awful Wrestling for $2. You may have botched your thing. What did Awful have to say? We're going to start a GFM to get Kate laid. That's my super chat. LOL. Okay. So Awful coming in and I don't know. Thanks for that, Awful. I don't know. Now they're just going to get mad at us. No, dude. Thank you for the super chat, bro. And we're going to start a GFM to get Kate, a GoFundMe to get Kate laid. That's funny. I don't want to even, I'm not going to make any of the jokes. Okay, Awful. I'm neutral Phil, fence sitting Phil here today. Just for, you know what I mean? Right? It's the way I got to be. All big booty bitches and bacon with big boobies, says, my friend said, why AEW using WWE rejects? Yeah, man. Thank you for the super chat. They're doing it because that's who can possibly draw. Right? That's who can possibly draw. Super duper gamer for £2 says, oh, come on now, Phil. That's not very fair on Moose Knuckle to say he obsesses over your feet. He does, bro. What are you talking about? That's my guy, though. Shout out Moose Knuckle. That's our guy. But yeah, you know, you got to deal with it. You got to roll with some punches sometime. Thank you so much for the super chat. Round of applause for all of our super chatters. So Jay Herbert responds to this and says, harassing and obsessing is not legit criticism to AEW. Exactly. Which your company had completely warped into an attack. You guys have no clue how tone deaf and stupid this sounds. Right. It's just incredibly tone deaf. So this journalist has taken his talents to the other side. So SRS is now over on we have a great service that supports our staff. I'm a wrestling reporter. And Sapp goes, AEW going to more intimate venues is a great call. Yeah, so now it's a great call because AEW decides to do it. But when Phil's yelling about it, I'm just an e-drone and I'm obsessed and AEW's actually good, blah, 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 right? It's so stupid. More scaled and intimate for TV, still big venues for pay-per-view. And then he goes, 0 troll comments on this over here. Yeah, why do you think? Why do you think, bro? You know, we explained it. Your bubble's over there. Moving along. So this guy, Ruined72133, says, apparently racist Miss Katefabe. Okay, you don't want to call her a racist. I wouldn't go that far. Is getting picked on because she's a woman and not because of her race question. Exactly. That's the other thing, too. People want to say equality and all of these sorts of things, and I'm all about that. You guys know my stances on that shit, but then you can't cry woman. You know, when the shit, when the shit goes down, you better be ready. Like, you can't cry woman then. You know what I mean? But anyways, but not because of her racist question. Sean Ross Sapp, why don't you give Tony Khan a call and ask him about the Jaguars R case and the NDAs of Jericho since you clearly support women? I mean, good point. Good point. Provided they did ask that question about NDAs at one of the press conferences and people got mad about it too. So there's no winning. This guy responding to Seahawk and Miss Kate Fade. I'm afraid I know the answer, but why do you think so many chuds are trying to clown Kate for that question? To be honest, it has triggered my ass. So this guy is triggered that people are trying to clown her for this dumb question. And then Seahawk's going to defend it. And shout out him and what he's doing with like Ariel Helwani and everything over at Yahoo. And they're building their thing and all that. But yeah, Seahawk too. He just like shuts people down. You can't have a debate with the dude. You know, he's unwilling. But anyways, so SRS goes, because she's a woman and works with me. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's because she's a woman, bro. I don't think that's it. I think if you put your neck on the line and asked that dumb question, you would have got hit as well. But because she works with you, yeah, there's part of that. But someone at Fightful could work with you and do things differently. And I think people would point it out. I think people would be fair. I think the IWC is more fair than, or maybe not. I think all fandom too on social media in general, I guess, is kind of unfair. But the world, life's unfair, man. But yeah, anyways, though. That's his assessment of it because she's a woman and works with me. And this guy points out here, like, well, why don't you ask about the NDAs and stuff like that, my guy? So John Draper responds to earlier. We read Miss Kate Fabe's, Cope, see the reviews of review of Raw there. John Draper says, not coming up enough for this conversation is that this person is actually paid and comped to attend AEW press conferences, but JD isn't allowed anywhere near the backstage talent. That's how you should know all of this is one big joke, and none of these are serious people. Right, but is JD a journalist, or isn't he a commentary guy? I'm a commentary guy. Hey, now I'm a journalist. First I was over here, now I'm over there now. Hey. Let me ask you a question, Tony Khan. No. Yeah, shout out JD. Oops, we're clicking all around. And so Machiavelli with the laughing thing, we saw this before where he goes at the Grammy winner. And just a reminder, he says this to a Grammy winner, got to be depressing to know you will never do or create anything that people will care about. Yeah. So throughout this whole burial here It's up to you guys. It's really up to chat. It's up to the commenters. It's up to the people who watch this. Let me know in the comments, like, do you agree with SRS? Like, do you think he's fair in this stuff? Do you think it's all allegations as far as him I mean, I could go on for days and days with people's stories of harassment, people's stories of being doxxed and all of these sorts of things. One last thing I want to do that I have to do, because I'm going to do it off camera, or off rather screen here, because again, it's opening DMs. And while I get it ready here, Shadow Bat Ash for $10 Canadian says, are one of the requirements to work at Fightful to be an insufferable, disingenuous, holier than thou, self-righteous, anti-WWE grifter? Because it seems like everyone who works there is. Damn. You guys are the judges of that. You know what I mean? Today, I'm letting you guys judge that. You have to be like, AEW revitalized my dream of wrestling. You have to do that. You know, I could spend all day covering old stuff, showing SRS in the ring, showing him offering $40K to try and fight Wrestling Soup and all Mish and all this shit, right? We could go through all of that. There's a history of it. We could go through the hacktivism. We could go through more stories of people claiming, you know, doxing and all that. I don't want to like share everything, but basically I could open my DMs and count to you. So April 2023, you know, how many messages unanswered, you know, and fucking SRS saying, you know, Billy Body's my boy, which he's not, dude. I make fun of that guy, but no, I'd have Billy Body on the show too, but you know, things like that, just getting triggered over, because I asked him about the fight and stuff like that back when we had a little bit of rapport, I guess. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 unanswered DMs from SRS where I just had to, because like it just, I don't know, you know. It just got weird, and he's sending me people's accounts that I don't follow, and he's like, look at this hurtful thing these people said and stuff. I don't fucking know. And then the last message I ever got from SRS was, gonna follow me and ignore all this, huh? You know, because he would block and unblock me, and I caught him on one of the unblocks, so I followed him, because I was like, fuck it, I'm not like, I'll follow, I don't care, but I'm not reading all your psycho DMs of like, oh shit, this is getting weird for me. You know, this is early on. This is last year, 2023. And that was his last message to me. Then he blocked me again, and then he's unblocked me to comment under shit, and then blocked me again. And so that's my own personal story. You guys can share yours. Maybe you don't have one. Maybe you agree with Sean, to which I want to hear you agree with his side of it. Then tell me, explain this to me. Someone, you know, I tried to be neutral. Obviously my own biases are going to slip in a little bit, or my own opinions based off my own experiences as well are going to slip in a little bit. But yeah, I hope this burial, it's not so much me burying anyone. It's, in my opinion, you know, them sort of, or Fightful sort of burying themselves. And I think they'll continue to do so, and we'll continue to chronicle it. Of course, what I tried to do here was just show you their responses, and just show you the responses of the people and what the people have to say, not necessarily, you know, I'm not trying to sway anyone one way or the other. Now, I know, again, it's hard because I'm trying to, you know, give you guys my own opinions as well. Like, you guys tune in to hear Phil Marks talk, but ultimately what I wanted to leave you guys with is a good word from a legend who's no longer with us. And let's let our friend here get the final thought.
Take this opportunity to thank you all for being on the show, and good luck to you. You know, part of the intensity of love is its vulnerability, knowing that you're never in control, that you're giving all of yourself, and it can be taken at any time in terms of your feelings. It's life on the edge, and our guests today have felt that vulnerability. They opened up their hearts, and as so often happens, they got burned. Why would their lover lie to them or cheat? And there is now not only pain and disappointment, but anger, a feeling of having been taken advantage of. It is small consolation to know that virtually everyone goes through that in life, usually more than once. Indeed, the only way to protect yourself from ever having that happen to you is to never fall in love in the first place. The problem is, that's an empty life. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.
Was that is that the right way to end the show, guys? I hope that was cute. I don't know how the fuck that applies to what we just talked about, but I don't know. Maybe extrapolate some positive energies from Jerry Springer. I've been Phil Marks. Take care of each other, right? We'll see you in the Upside Down.
We don't
Peace.
want to make false accusations here on the program, Brian. We do not want to accuse people of behavior, either unsavory behavior, possibly criminal behavior, certainly behavior that shouldn't be imitated. We don't want to do that if they're not guilty of it.
If you want outlaw but shows, you know just where to go. Tony Khan.
And a game 6 is far more likely than a game 7. And actually, there was only a 28.1%
Well,
chance.
it's kind of shot out, got diarrhea of the mouth. Tony Khan.
So, but as the series was going on, 28.1% chance. So about
He just lies and he cries, might be high on cocaine.
People on Twitter are calling Tony Khan either Tony Yayo, the cocaine cowboy, or Herb Abrams Jr.
I don't think it was Coke, but let's go back to this.
If you love New Japan, there's no bigger fan than Tony Khan.
Whoa. That person's Adam Cole, baby.
MJF got smart, called him a
fucking mark.
Tony Khan.
I'm not going to cover that one right now. Thanks, Nick. Do you have another question you want to ask?
He ain't right, might be high on the cocaine.
Every All Out has been higher the year before. Every Full Gear's been higher the year before. Every Revolution.
Lots of things are higher than they were.
Well, he likes that cold baths. He wants it only left. Tony Khan.
And do you guys have Chris?
If you just don't know what the hell's going on with Jericho, Tony Khan.
You're a wizard, Jerry.
He ain't right, he can't ride unless he's high on cocaine.
Does he ever admit when anything is the shits?
He ain't right, he ain't right. Tony Khan.
He's a nervous wreck, and somebody needs to put him in a rubber room at the Puzzle Factory before he hurts himself in some fashion.
Like, how many times have I watched WrestleMania 17, which is like 13 matches? How many times now? They're a little bit shorter than that. Some of the 12, 13. Which I think Chris could love. But anyway, I loved it.
It is a fast-acting viral strain that infects the host immediately, and upon getting sick, the infected will become racked with coughs, sweat profusely, and start to get the shivers and chills.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. You can't literally run a promotion just for the AEW, what do they call them, sickos?
Thank you very much, TikTok and AEW. See you tonight.
Tony Khan started telling people there's no such thing as long-term booking anymore. It's week to week.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
We just secured the bag.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It was just sort of happened naturally. But it was never something I intended. It was just something that happened because the wrestlers asked me to do things in matches, and I do them.
If you run a promotion just for the sickos, you're going to do 400,000 viewers eventually.
The mother effing melts. You know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
You know,
what's the point?
The point of SmackDown.
What are you getting at here?
That the DVRs didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Let's get into everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What would you like to listen to in your ears?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist.
We have just secured the bag.
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Let me out of my misery.
And when I heard that, I was like, what?
Thank you, fuck you, bye. Boom.
got to run a promotion for everybody. The sickos can be the ones that buy tickets first and spend the most money on the merchandise.
Because we are just secure back.
But like, you got to promote for everybody. Then you'll have a lot of viewers.
I think we proved a lot of so-called experts. We made them look like idiots. We're not going anywhere. Tony Khan's not going anywhere.
You'll also be there on TNT. You'll be in 2 places at once. You'll be around like my favorite movie. Lifetime. So great, Pittsburgh.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It sort of happened naturally.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Keep themselves safe.